What's going on, guys? This is my first ever Raw review on this channel. Yes, sir. Hold on. I think I did a review a couple years ago, maybe a couple months ago. I don't know, man. I don't trust my memory, so let's do it the safe way. This is my first ever Raw review on this channel in 2023. Yes, my memory is shot, but I know in the past few months I have not did a Raw review. But before we get into this, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and the bell next to it to get an update every time I upload a video. I do reactions, reviews, and thoughts when it pertains to wrestling. All right, so if I'm not great on this review, hang on just a little bit longer and eventually I will get better and I will be great. Now, speaking of being great, let's talk about something that wasn't so great, and that was Raw from last night. I watched it this morning after I did my reaction videos, and then I went in and watched it in its entirety, and it was a snooze fest. Yes, it was pretty boring. Now, I've seen a lot of people and a lot of outlets say this is the worst Raw ever. I can't believe it. It's terrible. But you know what? I understand that people feel that way. They have the right to their opinion, but also that people flourish off of hyperbole. And if that's their opinion, that's their opinion. If that's the way you flourish, you flourish. I'm happy that you're successful. But for me personally, I will have to respectfully disagree, because I've watched wrestling for a long time and I've seen some pretty bad Raws. Not a lot that's worse than this one, but there are some out there. If we want to talk about the category of the worst Raw after Mania, then all right, we in the same boat. We waving the same flag. We on the same team. You know what I'm saying? But for me last night, one of the things that I did notice, not last night, but from the Raw last night, one of the main things I did notice is that things felt disjointed. Like, things felt like they were just happening just to happen. Like, there was no motivation behind a lot of this stuff. There was no story behind a lot of this stuff. I mean, point A, Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley. It was cool to have them go back and forth with the belts, but we need some story in the women's division, guys. That would have been a perfect opportunity to introduce one of their next rivals or their next feuds. I don't know if Raquel Rodriguez is going to be the next feud for Rhea Ripley, which is why they looked at each other like that. I don't know. But we needed to see a clear, defining feud, at least for Bianca Belair. We don't know who she's going to face next. For me personally, I would love to see them turn Mia Yim heel and have them face each other and find something going on, because she done went through the whole women's division. There's nobody left. We out of stock, man. Like, we need to get replenished with more women in the division or have some changes, because they are doing zero development when it comes to the mid-cards and the story when it comes to the women's division. Nothing is happening. That was the main issue we had going into Mania. Thank God those matches were as good as they were, because if they weren't, we would have been talking about those matches a whole different way than we are right now. So another thing that I thought should have happened, at least had some other surprise. Now, I know Matt Riddle came back. That was cool to see. I'm happy that he's feeling better. I'm happy that he's doing better. But it felt like it just happened. It'd have been an easy time. Why didn't Braun Breaker get shown up on Raw? He just lost his title at Stand and Deliver. And this is WrestleMania Raw. This is the Raw after WrestleMania. We supposed to be having some surprises going on here. People, like, what is going on? We just signed a deal with Endeavor, man. We supposed to be showing them and pulling out the big guns, but we not doing that. What's going on with that? Another thing I did notice is the morale of the wrestlers last night. It was, I don't know if you guys noticed it, but people felt stiff. People felt like they didn't want to be there. It's just stuff that seemed off. It just felt like, you know, when you have a paper due and the project's due tomorrow and you waited to the last minute to do it, and you just wrote whatever you could to make it sound fancy to at least get a C. That's what it felt like last night. Everything just felt really disjointed. And specifically Becky Lynch, if you've seen her face and her demeanor during that interview that she had with Lita and Trish when they were talking to Byron Saxton, she looked pissed off. And I'm not talking about she looked angry like the man pissed off. She looked pissed off like somebody legit did something and she was 2 seconds from stabbing him in the throat. Like, that's how she looked last night. By the way, speaking of being angry, what was going on with Lita's face? I noticed that she, around this area, she had like a Prince Zuko from the last Airbender thing going on. What was that? You know, I'm wondering if that happened from the match on Saturday. It looked like she tried to cover it up with makeup, but hopefully she's doing great. That's not to make fun of that, but I was just curious. But also, it was always great to see Trish Stratus. But as I said, majority of these things had no motivation. The thing with Jonah and Bobby Lashley seemed so robotic, so scripted. It was just so ridiculous of how it looked. And also, it was just, I don't know, man. It just, even the thing with Seth Rollins, he's like, I need to go where the party is. He went out there and he had people say, it just seemed like they just figured this stuff out at the last minute. Nothing felt like it had anything behind it. No thought, no motivation, no nothing. Now, I will say the positive things that happened is we had the match between the Street Profits and KO and Sami Zayn, which makes sense because the Street Profits won a showcase match, the tag showcase match at WrestleMania. They want to face the champions, but even then, I felt like they should have drummed up a little bit of drama, you know, a little bit more, or at least waited it out or started it off and made the match not really it. Like, it just shouldn't have happened that way there. But again, It's Raw after Mania. We got to get these hashtags out. That don't justify it, though. That does not justify any of that at all. And the whole thing with Brock Lesnar and Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns is, you know, as random as a lot of that felt, I guess it was a positive of the night. I mean, it was probably one of the most interesting things happening on Raw. And to have Cody Rhodes have to go through this entire story of this redemptive arc where he lost against the boss and had to like go back down to the beginning and start all over. If that's where they're going, then I guess that's an interesting story. I think people are still wounded from what happened at WrestleMania, but I'm willing to see what happens next. But overall, when it comes to Raw last night, I would recommend just watching the highlights. If you can find a channel to watch Raw highlights, just watch those. Don't waste 3 hours watching this entire thing. And I'm not one of those people who are like, the sky is falling. I saw Vince McMahon is behind creative. It's over. These things like that. I get why people feel that, and they have every right to feel that way because Vince has not convinced us to think any other way. But I'm gonna try to stay as positive as I can in this channel. Even if it means I'm having fun with them doing good or me making fun of them doing bad, I'm gonna have fun on this channel regardless. I don't care what anybody else do. That's what I do here. I'm here to have fun. I hope you guys have fun with me. I really appreciate each and every one of you guys. Like I said, when it comes to Raw, just watch the highlights. Don't go watch the 3 hours. It's not really worth it, to be honest with you. But again, thank you. Salute, peace, have a good day. Let me know how I did on the review. I will get better. I will try to be a little bit more professional and scripted, but I'm not a scripted person. I do all these things. I freestyle these things off the top of my head, but I'll try to be more organized as I'm being a hypocrite talking about Raw, not being organized. Okay? Thank you so much. Hope you guys have an amazing day. Salute, peace, have a good day.